Ciao ragazzi, Bruno here for Inter Worldwide, bringing you the video. It's Scudetto to Scudetto, where I will be covering every season we've had since the previous Scudetto. So since our 18th Scudetto win to our 19th Scudetto win, I'll be covering managers where Inter finished 2-1. Well, we know most of them, and key transfers that happened within there. So just to start us off, 2019 season, Mourinho was our coach. We won everything there was to win: the Coppa, the Scudetto, as well as the Champions League, and that was the 18th time Inter had won the Scudetto. And since then, until this year, there was not much happening. So the end of the season, we saw Jose Mourinho leave Inter and move on, and Inter appointed Rafa Benitez as our manager at that time. We still had quite an extremely solid squad, but at that point, Inter came second in the season. We trailed AC Milan by 6 points, who were the winners, and we signed the likes of future captain Ranocchia, Biani, and Pazzini, and I think we only ended up with the Coppa Italia, the Super Coppa Italia, and the Club World Cup. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. Anyway, so that season was, one to forget, especially considering it was our cross city rivals who did win it. Then the 11-12 season, we saw the first of 9 straight Juventus victories. And it began a very dark era, trophyless era, until this year for Inter Milan. Juventus finished first, AC Milan finished second, Inter finished 6th, 26 points behind Juventus. And what happened was we had the manager was Gasparini at this time. And what did he do? He signed Forlan, Guarin, and Ricky Alvarez. So they were the 3 key signings from that. But we started a unusual trend, which became too familiar with Inter. If shit hit the fan, figuratively, we just change our managers. So Gasparini lasted the 1 season. 2012-13 season, we started with Stramaccioni as our manager, Juve first, Napoli second, Inter were 9th, 33 points behind Juventus. So the more the years go on, the further behind we're finishing behind Juventus. Our most notable signing of that season would have been Handanovic, who is our current captain at the club. And we also signed Kovacic, who we did sell to Real Madrid, and then he moved on to Chelsea, which he lifted up the Champions League this season, and Rodrigo Palacio. And if you thought that was bad, the 13-14 season, Inter finished in 5th place, so we did 4 spots better, but we finished 42 points behind Juventus. 9 more than the previous season. Juventus won, Roma came second, and Walter Mazzarri was our manager at the time. And this was probably one of the more tricky, confusing transfer windows. We saw the likes of Hernandez, who came from Lazio at the time, Taida, Belfodil. But then we also saw Icardi, who moved to Inter, and he would become our captain. He would score amazing amounts of goals for Inter. I think he won 2 top goal scorer accolades whilst with Inter, but he also brought the drama. Anyway, 14-15 season, Mazzarri was still our manager. We managed to shave 10 points off the previous season's total against Juventus. We finished 8th, 32 points behind Juventus, who were winners, and Roma ended up coming second. This transfer window, we signed the likes of Shaqiri, Podolski, Medel, and Osvaldo. I was actually extremely excited for Gary Medel. I had seen him play before, and I'm like, this is he reminded me of the Gattuso of the 2006 World Cup, and I was really excited. Did not did not really did not come to fruition. But that saw the end of the Mazzari era, and in the 15-16 season, Mancini became Inter manager. He managed to get Inter to fourth place, 24 points behind Juventus that season. Napoli ended up finishing second, but he ended up getting us to fourth place. And back then, it was only the top three who qualified. So for Champions League, so he missed out on Champions League qualification. But he signed the likes of Kondogbia and Marenda. Marenda, who was a fantastically solid centre back for Inter at the time. But he also signed Perisic, who is part of this Scudetto winning team and a great player in my opinion. So moving on to the 16-17 season, and a season which I would love to forget. We started the season with Frank de Boer as our manager. He lasted 2 months. Vecchi was our manager at one point for a day, I think. And then current AC Milan manager Pioli ended up coming in and taking the reins. Inter finished seventh, 29 points behind Juventus, Roma second. And we signed the likes of Candreva and Jean Mario, but our most notable signing of that year, it was Marcello Brozovic. Um, it was a fantastic signing, still a Inter Milan player at this time, and he was fundamental to getting us to where we are. But yeah, so I would say in our dry spell, that 16-17 season would have hurt the most. Although we finished ninth, we finished eighth. This season we did finish seventh, but we just finished too far behind. We just finished too far behind Juventus, and the instability really shook me up as a fan. The instability really showed me that it's going to be a while until we see some trophy, until we see some progression. And it was the time, I believe, then Suning took over and we signed Spalletti as our manager from Roma. At the same time, we got Skriniar, Vecino, Dalbert, Gagliardini, and Bastoni. Back then, they were nothing transfers. You know, we ended up finishing. I remember this the final game of the season determined. It was the first year that the top four automatically qualify, and Inter was playing Lazio, and the Frey ended up giving Inter a penalty, which qualified Inter for Champions League for the first time since the 2010-11 season. 2010-11 season. But we really started to see the fruits of the Suning project and the fruits of, well, this team is, we're starting to put our name back out there. We're starting to grow on what it was. And yeah, we finished fourth. It was a match day 38 shamble, but we managed to get there. We got the Champions League. And the following season really was pretty much the same. Nainggolan came from Roma. We finished 21 points off Juventus in fourth, whereas the previous season we finished 23. So we did slim it down by 2 points, but it was more of a firmer season by Inter in the sense of we looked a lot more comfortable. And I think Spalletti came there and he did what he needed to do. He brought the likes of Gaeta Balde from Monaco to play, Martinez, who came to play. He's the main reason we brought Martinez there was for him to shadow Icardi and learn. So we wanted to mold him, and then there was all that drama in the Europa League and so forth, and Icardi stripped of his captaincy, and Martinez was thrown into the deep end. But yeah, and he also brought the fry across from Lazio, so it was fantastic season for us transfer wise. The 1920 season saw the announcement of Conti, who took over the Spalletti role. And look, I cannot say Conti would have achieved what he achieved if it wasn't for what Spalletti started. So Spalletti came in to get Inter back into the Champions League and to a competitive stage. Conti came in to win titles, win the Scudetto, and he did not take his foot off the throat. As soon as he came into signed Godin, Barella, Lukaku, Sensi. Mid-season we signed Ericsson, Ashley Young. We got Alexis Sanchez on loan from Manchester United. We got and Victor Moses as well, and he got a lot of the dead weight. So Nainggolan was loaned out to Cagliari. Perisic was sent to Bayern Munich, where he ended up winning the treble, and Icardi was sent to PSG. Now, out of those three, only one would survive, and that would be Perisic. But it came down to one point at the end of the day. Inter qualified for the Champions League. We finished second, 1 point behind Juventus, but it was really the faith started coming back, and you started seeing hope in the eyes of these Inter fans. And the start of the 2020-2021 season, um, it was different because we although Inter the season finished early due to COVID, Inter competed in Europe and we ended up making the final of the Europa League, which was played after the Champions League. So Inter actually had the smallest not transfer window, pre-season out of all the teams. Inter ended up losing the Europa League final, and in my eyes, that would have been I say this to this day, that loss in the Europa League final was the catalyst to what was to come. Inter started the 2020-2021 season. It was hot and cold. Europe was horrendous. Terrible performance throughout Europe. Finished last in the group, which was beneficial to Inter. But we went on a 9-game winning streak, went on a 12-game winning streak, and we really picked it up following following December, in the conclusion of the first half of the season. Milan were crowned winter champions, and Inter then went on a 12-game win streak and just cemented. Inter ended up finishing 12 points ahead of AC Milan, which was phenomenal. If we look back to the 13-14 season, we were 42 points behind Juventus. We finished 12 points ahead. Not an amazing achievement because the rest of the league did struggle against each other, and ultimately it was Atalanta who could have caught Inter at one point and drew with Sassuolo, which ended up giving Inter the Scudetto. But we brought Hakimi across and signed Alexis on a permanent deal, Vidal and Kolarov. And I think Conte just moved all of his chess pieces into the perfect position and accomplished what he was there to do. We concluded the season as champions, and now we're starting the next phase. And Inzaghi has been brought from Lazio to coach Inter as Inter parted ways with Conte. So it will be really interesting to see where this season goes and how we're going to progress. In my eyes, I'm quite fearful, but I still do believe that we will be able to get that second star on top of our jersey there. But before I leave you, wearing the Italian jersey, the Euro competition is only around the corner. So guys, be advised, we will be dropping some fire content. We will be dropping some content throughout the entire competition. Not just Italy related, but anything involving an Inter player, you will see us there. So it will be phenomenal. Anthony's done his prediction video, so it's gonna be great, guys. So from all of us here at Inter Worldwide, appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and tell your friends about us because we will be loving to deliver content to you all. From all of us here at Inter Worldwide, thank you and Forza Inter. Ciao.